Voting is the cornerstone of American democracy. However, there are other ways to make your voice heard.
I think if it's an issue that you're very passionate about, you should call. And the most effective form is by calling, not by getting on a form email or anything like that, but calling your local office, and then you might even need to call the DC office. I call on a variety of issues. I call on issues related to my profession, such as real estate, but I'll also call on foreign policy issues, immigration issues.
As a member of nonprofit boards, I've called an awful lot of representatives and their staff on a lot of different issues. I think my first foray into this was when I was 8 years old and I wrote President Johnson a letter about how we could win the Vietnam War.
I would say it's more effective than voting, because you're letting them know that you're going to hold them accountable, that you're paying attention to what they're doing, and that they can't pay attention to your issues, in the case of a congressman, only once every 2 years.
To call to support or oppose a bill, one must first locate his or her representative. In Somerville, for example, Mark Sanford represents the district. It is important to know the name of the bill in question so that the person taking the call can easily look it up. Bills typically start with HR or HJ, followed by numbers. Next, callers who struggle with speaking over the phone should create a script for themselves in order to make the interaction smooth and brief. Above all, callers should keep it simple and respectful.
Every call is logged, so I can give you an exact number of people that have called on the issue of Yemen. I could tell you how many people have called on the issue of Affordable Care Act.
You really should come armed with some familiarity with the issue and maybe a few facts and figures that you can offer if the opportunity arises.
Our founding fathers believed that civil discourse was an important part of the equation. If one is to represent, about 750,000 people back home, which is what every congressional district covers, it's important to hear from people.
I try to be polite and quick and to the point. I've been fairly pleased with my congressmen and both senators in the responses that I get back. I would say I've gotten them to think a little bit differently about a certain issue.
It's very helpful for people to hear what somebody at home thinks. Here in recent news in Washington, politics really does impact people's lives, and again, the only way you change it in our political system is by making your voice heard.
To find your representatives, visit house.gov/representatives/find. Reminding you to make your voice heard in a constantly changing political climate, I'm Ann Bailey, WAVE TV.